Hello, this is Joe. Uh, I don't, I'm be honest with you. This isn't a blunt. This is a cigar. Okay. Be honest with you. I don't know what exactly, to what extent that I am sharing this, but there are a few. There are few videos. Pardon that. I was watching something which actually gave me inspiration to do this. And what this is right here, I'm gonna write this as I'm talking during this video. How weak are you? Okay. I like that silence. And as I stated, I was inspired by something I was just watching. And I had to think about it. How weak are you if you have to have someone isolated? Okay, so I wrote it. How weak are you? You have to have someone isolated. What would be the reasons to isolate someone? There are several reasons. The first reason, and I will address this personally, the first reason, beyond what you may believe or may think, is the reason for the isolation. This is the reason, truly, the reason why you would isolate someone. How weak are you? You have to have someone isolated. Why? To show your power and authority. Okay. What would be the next reason? After showing your power and authority, to shine a light on someone or something. Now, real quickly, to shine a light on someone or something, what would be the reason to shine a light on someone or something? There could be various reasons. I'm just going to go what's personal to me. Perhaps being presented with what you would deem is evidence of a maladaptive behavior. Okay? So what you want to do by isolating this person outside of showing your power or authority is to shine a light on someone or something to verify or validate the evidence that you may have come to possess. Now, there's something I like to bring to light, and this again is personal. This is to me, right? Personal to me. How often, when we are provided with substantial evidence to prove or validate a claim about someone or something, how often are we presented with this evidence and we question the manner in which this evidence came to be even in existence? So I'm just going to play with this. Shine a light on someone, something depicting maladaptive behavior. Okay, so that's pretty much what I just spoke. Shine a light on someone, something depicting maladaptive behavior. And what I mentioned is questioning how is it that you come to possess this evidence of maladaptive behavior, then that would point to, firstly, the suspicion of this maladaptive behavior. And then after having a suspicion of this maladaptive behavior, you want to, what's the word? You want to showcase it. You like to see it. Okay, so how would you go about seeing it? Essentially, this is where it goes into the gray area. And there's a couple different directions this could go at this particular point, because in order to substantiate this maladaptive behavior, to catch it, to see it, replicate it, means that you're going to have to view a person or something or a situation without them knowing that you're viewing it. Something covert. And more importantly, where would you be able to replicate this maladaptive behavior without being noticed? Okay, so we're going to talk about surveillance. I hope I spelled that right. It doesn't look right, but I'm trusting that it's spelled right. Surveillance. So you know this maladaptive behavior isn't something that occurs out in the streets. This is something that occurs with someone, something in their own personal space. So to get information about this, you're going to have to invade their personal space. Invade their personal space. Okay? And let me just put that in parentheses. Break the law. Surveillance. Power, authority is what you demonstrate by isolating someone. 2, shine a light on someone, something depicting maladaptive behavior. 3, surveillance. Invade their personal space. Break the law. Now, in breaking the law, invading their personal space, this means that you are installing or installed cameras. You know, you want to catch this maladaptive behavior in that particular place and time. So you're installing cameras. Again, break the law. And I'm going to sidestep real quick. Who is more likely to break the law? Now, we have the run-of-the-mill individuals, citizens, that they think they can get a one-up on people if they go steal, rob, whatever, this, and that. You know how that goes. Then there's another element that are tasked with enforcing the law, and this is what they want you to believe. This element that they can enforce the law by what? They can enforce the law by circumventing the very laws that are guaranteed and protected by the United States Constitution. I'm not going to write all that. I'm going to speak it. By circumventing the very laws that are guaranteed. I guess I am writing it. Through the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So in an effort to prove this maladaptive behavior, which, as I stated before, could be characterized or termed as breaking the law, to shine a light on this maladaptive behavior, you have to do what it is that you are sworn to uphold. And I'm speaking about law enforcement. You have to break the oath that you took to uphold the law, to break the law, to observe someone illegally against their constitutional and Bill of Rights guaranteed by anyone here in the United States. This is where I'm at. And in addition to, I'm going to put in addition to, not only break the laws that are guaranteed by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, break the laws of an individual that you think broke the law perhaps, and you want to prove it, break the law of an individual who also took an oath to combat hostilities, foreign and domestic, a military personnel. So how does all this work out? You have an entity that wants to prove someone of a crime. Not only are you trying to prove this person did a crime, you have to put this subject in a controlled environment, and through the use of operant conditioning, both with their partner, and I'm speaking to myself personally, their partner, who is also a part of this controlled environment, for that individual to act and behave in a certain way, and use a host of other individuals, dare I even say, if this person elicited a maladaptive behavior towards someone else, then to replicate that, you have to put that person in the presence of someone that maladaptive behavior could be exhibited on or to, which places that individual in harm's way. So you break the law to observe them illegally. You break the law by putting someone else's safety in jeopardy, because what are they saying about possession is 9/10 of the law? Conspiracy along that line is just having a, why am I led to say this? Having a know-withal, is that? I don't know where that comes from. It's just in my head. A know-withal, the potentiality of something occurring and happening, making you a party to maladaptive behavior, that you placed a person in a situation. If it does go, unfortunately, the way that you want it to go, by them exhibiting this maladaptive behavior, perpetrated or focused on another individual that you had in that person's presence, says that you are a party to this maladaptive behavior. How can it be proven that you're a party to? Well, you have it on video. You have cameras. So whether you were the one that committed or displayed any maladaptive behavior or not, you are a party to someone who did exhibit maladaptive behavior towards a person or people, by placing them in that situation as the pawn, as the target. Make no mistake, this individual that was put in that maladaptive behavior person's vicinity, they are the lure. I don't know any other way to say that. So it's almost like, and this reminds me of something that happened in the past with John, I think his first name is John DeLorean. You know, the guy that created the stainless steel car, and the automobile industry was in an uproar because this man created a vehicle that would not rust. So what did the automobile industry get together and do? They decided to set John DeLorean up. It's a pretty good case. I will say this, if I'm not mistaken, the parties that were involved, they found that it was the FBI, the CIA, whomever was involved, they found them liable. And John DeLorean got off on what account? Entrapment. How is it entrapment? Because they broke the law to get someone to have in their possession illegal substance. At the same time, they were the one that put it in his vicinity to have in his possession. At the same time, the people observing on the camera placed the guinea pig or the target in a position to be harmed, expecting this individual to be harmed, regardless of the harm that it would bring to that person. But the outcome was to essentially catch this individual on video displaying this maladaptive behavior and use that, if not as leverage against that individual, use that as defamation so they can go about isolating this person. So I'm glad I thought of that. Please jog you guys' memory, whoever is going to watch this, jog you guys' memory, the federal case with John DeLorean and how it was deemed in a court of law that it was entrapment. You see, the situation with me is an entrapment of a caliber that I truly believe that this has been something that has habitually, this is ritual with certain organizations to do this, place these burdens on a particular individual, to place them in a situation where they can be observed during, this maladaptive behavior. And what is not known is the backstory, which is how did that person come to even act in this manner. The backstory is the same organization that set the cameras up to watch and observe this were the same, they were the same people or organizations in this person's upbringing that afflicted them with this childhood trauma so that it would later manifest into this maladaptive behavior to their advantage and not the individual. So essentially what you have is organizations that are preying on individuals at a time in their life where they're the most impressionable, when they're children. And dare I even say, for them to do that, this involves people that are part of this organization that have credentials in psychology and psychology, sociology. These are degreed professionals. Okay, they know what a child, a young person would have to be subjected to for it to later manifest in their life as an adult. They would be co-conspirators to anything that this grown child, they go from adolescence to adulthood, they would be co-conspirators to this adult that's gone through what they subjected them to exhibit this behavior. They are co-conspirators. So what they want to do is, perhaps, because if you have doctors, degree professionals knowing what to do, then you also have legal professionals that would provide any information as to loopholes or whatever, to basically use this information in a manner that would keep the people, the psychiatrists, psychologists that develop this whole trauma-based situation, to keep them out of the red. Legal professionals keep these psychiatrists, psychologists out of the red. But make no mistake, an adult that exhibits maladaptive behavior, high probability, it is a manifestation from things that happened to them when they were younger. Now, for a woman, this would be a plus. What I mean by that is, generally speaking, young women, young girls, young ladies that go through childhood trauma, they eventually grow up and they're very promiscuous. They end up, not all, but a portion of them end up going into sex work. You will have some intelligent ones that will be able to, for example, work at a brothel and pay for their schooling because they know that this is not something they want to do. Then you have those others that see that this is the only way they're going to be able to make a way for them to live. And then they're supported by individuals around them that's giving them the attaboy, keep making that money. Because the money they're making is actually being split with other individuals that's not laying down doing what they're doing. They're just providing them the place, the roof under which they can do that. So essentially what I'm getting at, I'm going to tie this off. If there exists evidence of someone's maladaptive behavior, please pay attention to how that information, that evidence, was gained in the first place. There are such things, and we live in a society today where people will put things in motion so that they are viewed a certain way, and they sit back, like plan well made or well thought out. I myself stated before, I'm very, 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 very familiar with systems, not realizing that I actually had to become familiar with systems with the line of work that I do myself care to enjoy. It is a hobby, but I was placed in that situation for a reason, for me to recognize what is going on and how I exist within this system, which has been running pretty much my entire life. So at this particular time, me being rebellious or being defiant towards those that are in authority comes in, it is by way of the misinformation, the misdirection, the trauma that I was afflicted upon, me personally, as a youngster, that this was well known. And as a matter of fact, let me back up. The individual that, me example, I was in a relationship, and this person that I was in a relationship with was a collaborator of what was the intention of the whole relationship. The intention of the whole relationship had a agenda. This person was to play a part. Now this person, my partner, significant other, whatever, I had come to see things about this particular person, even physical things, that I did not question, and perhaps that was my fault to not question it, but I remember it. And the things physically that I remember tells me or denotes to me that this person that I was in this relationship with, that was conspiring with others for the overall goal, this person had been subjected to childhood trauma as I have. Whereas physically, there were signs that you could see on her body. And for me, those signs that things like that or that nature had happened to me were more internalized. And I dare I say that's perhaps going to be the case with a lot of men, maybe even women. You won't show the telltale signs of being abused or anything like that, but psychologically, they are both there. And that is something that I will say that I noticed. I physically saw with my eyes the signs of being physically, sexually abused. I myself don't exhibit any physical signs of being sexually or physically abused, but psychologically, I bear the burden just as my partner, this person I was in a relationship with, did as well. But see, they chose to use this person against me. This person was already in the palm of their hand. And dare I even say, had promises made to them if they follow through, tooth and nail with what they want. Me, on the other hand, I was a sacrifice, because a male, and be honest with you, a male, if you have been abused, psychologically abused, which would encompass physical and as well as sexual, there is very few things that you could do that would be of a profit to someone or an organization outside of just prostituting yourself, okay, as a male. But a woman can prostitute herself and think nothing of it, because she will have the admiration of men that's in her company, whether they depict her as being a hoe or this and that. She cool, she's straight. Now a male, you can't, especially if this male has trauma surrounding his gender identity, which I will go back and I will say this right now. The mere fact that there are organizations that exist to make monies off of individuals by involving themselves in a child's life early. Mind you, this child, like myself, or anyone else for that matter, has aspirations of doing this or becoming that. But that is not the plan for that individual, unbeknownst to them. The plan that they have for this individual is either to, as I said, African American male in America, they want you effeminate. They want you to be a homosexual. They don't want you to have children. There's a fear behind, and I'm going to say this, there's a fear behind Africans in general, especially if you're here in America. There's a fear that if we come to know who we are, our heritage, which we've been separated from, dare I even say our native tongue, because English is not, for me, I've been born here, but as far as being African, I'm believing I spoke a different language. My great grandpeople, they spoke a different language. I have no idea of that. This is all methodical. And the sad thing about this is that humans are so fragile, because I will add that a statement that was made to me, and this is something that I walk and live and breathe by every day since I made this admonition. Admonition that I was going to make my life worth living. Coming to a point where I think that having certain things would have people look at me a certain way, a way that I wanted them to look at me, but that was not my destiny. Essentially, what I believe right now, currently for me, making my life worth living is exhibiting the rebellion. Look at that, the rebellion. Yeah, they give me those too. You saw them, roaches. The rebellion, the defiance, the very institution, organization that built me up to be this way is the same organization that now feels some type of way because I don't side with them in their ideologies of things. It's almost like, as some people will do, you'll take a little bit of the Quran or the Kabbalah or the Bible and discount or disprove or ignore the rest of it. When, in essence, as with any book, I'm going to make this very plain, with any book that you may pick up, for example, a math book, you can't pick and choose what part of a math book that you're gonna take this information and I'm gonna go with it, because math is incremental. The last I checked, math is incremental. You know, this allows you to be able to solve this problem. You solve this problem, this answer, that allows you, it's incremental. You learn one thing, you learn your addition, subtraction, your multiplication, your division. It's incremental. You wouldn't do that to a math book. So what I'm trying to get across is the Quran, Kabbalah, or the Bible. You either accept it in its entirety or you refute it. Me personally, finding one, two, or several different things in the Bible that I don't agree with, I refute it. I will say that there are good lessons contained within the text, but in its totality, I refute it. Because what you have to learn, and I'm understanding this now, sometimes for an agenda to be pushed, they have to mix the lies in with the truth to make it hard for you to discern one from the other. When the lies are mixed in with the truth, that's when you set it all to the side. And that's what I've done. I asked on my way back to my home, I went to the store to get this cigar here. I saw some OGs that were outside, with the music. You know how we do. But I just happened to be on Skid Row. And it was placed on my heart to ask these gentlemen that I could see visually, they were older than me, at least 15 to 20 years older. I had to ask them a question, and I'm going to ask this question to you guys. If you have 3 individuals that get arrested, you find out one individual that was arrested, they stole some money from someone's house. You have another individual that was arrested because they killed someone. They stole someone's life. Now the third individual, you're not quite certain. Just on the context of one of them being a thief, stealing money or riches, another one being a thief, stealing someone's life, that leads you to believe that the third one is what? A thief too. So now I'm going to bring it back in context for you. There was a person on either side of Jesus named Gestas, Gestas. He was a thief. There was a person on the other side of Jesus named Desmas or Dismas. He was a thief of life. He took someone's life. And the third person that was on the cross is who we come to know, or they want us to know, is Jesus, which did no harm, was just here to die for our sins. Why the change now? You have Jesus in the middle of one person who's a thief taking someone's life, another person who's a thief taking someone's riches, and they're in the middle and they've done nothing. Well, that's not how the Romans looked at it. The Romans looked at all three of them are thieves. So if they looked at the three of them being thieves, how was Jesus a thief? Can you waste someone's time? Can you steal someone's time? Can you misrepresent who you are? That's how the Romans viewed Jesus. Jesus was on the cross not because he was the Son of Man or the Son of God. He was on the cross because he was a thief. And on either side of Jesus were other thieves. What was the message that the Romans were trying to convey? Do not steal money, riches, any items of value from someone. Jesus in the middle. Do not steal someone's time, portraying that you're this and that, and you're no more than what? A common. And the other person, do not steal someone's life. That's the message the Romans were trying to get across. Don't steal money, time, or life. Get that. Money, time, or life. Romans crucified people for stealing people's money, time, or life. Why is that so hard to understand? I just thought I'd share that. This back with the isolation. That's opening in. It's Joe.